Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make my wooden house number 8, but don't quote me on that, it's been a while since I've made a wooden house. Plus, as you guys know, my memory's awful. If you want to make it, here's what you're going to need. You will need some spruce wood and some birchwood planks. Also, grab yourself some birchwood stairs, and finally, grab yourself some glass pane. And those are the only materials that you're really going to be needing. However, if you want, you could also grab some more. Maybe you want some lava buckets, maybe you want some creeper heads, that's completely up to you. But really, all you need are those 4 materials that we have right here. So once you have these, and once you've figured out what you want to make it, I'll be making it right here, you're going to want to kick off your house with a row of 5 spruce wood coming directly up from the ground. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Once you have your row of 5 spruce wood, you then want to take the 5th block, the top block, and extend it to the right by 6. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then connect this 6th block to the ground to form an archway shape. Like this, and if any of you guys have made any of my other house tutorials as of recent, you'll know that all of my houses start this way. I can't explain it either, it's starting to creep me out. Oh, and if you're anything like me as well, you may also want to change this corner block to face vertical because you have OCD and you have a real problem and you acknowledge it. Once you form this archway shape, this is what you want to do next. So, you now want to take each one of the top 2 corners of your archway, and you want to take each one of these corners and extend them coming towards you, each by 6. So like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You then want to connect each one of those 6 blocks together, and then connect each one of those 6 blocks to the ground. Like that. And again, if you've got any form of mild OCD or severe OCD, like I might have, I really need to get that checked out, you may want to change each one of those corner blocks to vertical blocks. Spruce wood, for some reason, it's decided to stop behaving itself properly. Like, it's really difficult to try and make a spruce block vertical. You could used to, depending on how you place the block, you could like place them at will, but now they just place however they feel like it, so. But hey, that's how the cookie crumbles. Minecraft is forever changing, and thus we must as well. Once you've reached this point right here, this is what you want to do next. So we now want to take each one of the top 4 corners of our little box shape here, and we want to go up on top of each one of those corners whilst muting our phones by 6 with our spruce wood. So on top of each one of those 4 corners, go up by 6 with your spruce wood. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2 left. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And finally, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And once you have those 4 pillars of 6, you just want to go all the way around those 6 blocks and just connect each one of those 6 blocks together, just in like a nice square shape like this. So you want to have what should look, once you've finished it, like a little bit of a tower shape. Kind of looks like a big giant 3D capital A. Once you've reached this point right here, this is what you want to do next. So, coming back down to the lower half of what we've made, we now want to go around each one of the 4 sides of our giant capital A here, and we want to, well, you want to do this, it's kind of difficult to put into words, but you're on the front of the house here, and you want to take each one of these 2 connection blocks, like these 2 original, like top 2 corners of our original archway, and you want to extend those 2 corners coming towards you, each by 6, and you want to do that all the way around the house. You want to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then you want to connect each one of those 6 blocks together and then connect them all to the ground. So what you want to end up with is essentially, once we've corrected those 2 corner blocks, essentially you want to have this all the way around the house. So that's the first side. Second side here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then connect each one of those 6 blocks together and then connect them to the ground. And again, we're going to have to fix those corner blocks because unfortunately, I don't know why Minecraft have decided to change it, but you know, you play spruce wood differently now. We've went through like 3 different rules with it. So that's the second side, got to do 2 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we're going to outsmart it this time 6. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And again, outsmart it, then connect it together, and we just have the 1 side left to do now. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then connect that final 2 blocks together to give you something which should look a little bit like this just from the top. It should look like a big giant plus shape with like a tower coming out of the center. Very, very simple. Once you've reached this point right here, this is what you want to do next. So now you finally have to designate where you want the front of your house to be, unless you want multiple entrances. That's completely up to you. However, this is going to be the front of my house. Once you've figured out which side you want to be the front, because of course you have 4 choices at the moment, unless you want multiple entrances. Once you've found the front, come to the most front-facing panel, which will be this most outer one right here. And you want to make an entrance that should look a little bit like this. I'm just going to make it for you and then show you the end result of it because, well, you know, it's really, really simple. So you want to do this wherever you want the entrance of your house to be. That is the only panel on the house, again, unless you want multiple entrances, that should differ from each other. That is what you want to have for the entrance. Apply that to wherever you want the entrance to be, and once you've done that, this is what you want to do next. So we now have to painstakingly go all the way around the house, and we want to do this to every single other panel around the house. You want to form this pattern just going around the house, and that's right, you want to have that exact same pattern right there, no differentiation whatsoever, just that exact same pattern going all the way around the house in the many, many faces and walls of the house. So that is what you want to have. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to do it on recording because I don't think it will take too long. It will take a little while, but I don't think it will take an exorbitant amount of time, and I'm going to just add the glass in last. I'm going to do all of the wood bits, and then I'll add the glass in. And like I said, you want to have the exact same pattern just going all the way around the house, all the way around the house. That's the idea with this house. It's kind of like everything's kind of the same. It's all split even. It's all symmetrical. Everything's the same. That's the whole idea. It's like one part of the house. It's all flowing into each other. It's just, I don't know what I'm saying now. I'm kind of mental. Let's just continue doing exactly what we've been doing for a little while. Now we've done most of the detail around in the walls actually now. It's not taking too long whatsoever. Hopefully it won't take you guys too long either. If you guys do the exact same thing as me, if you add all of the wood first and then add glass pane, I don't know why, but glass pane seems to just kind of ruins everything. It makes everything longer. It just slows us down, glass pane. I wish we didn't have to add it. Something that I've kind of wanted in Minecraft for quite a while, if you guys have ever used like Microsoft Paint or, you know, I'm sure any other iteration of the program, you know how like if you've got big giant shapes, like just completely empty shapes and they're all closed off, how you can just use like the paint can to fill in just like a big wide open space? I've always wished that you could do the same thing in Minecraft, like if you made like a big giant square shape, kind of like this, I wish you could just kind of like use like a paint can to just completely fill it in with whatever material you wanted, like any material of choice. And of course it's raining now. They've got to rain on my parade, which means I'm going to have to cut this off because I don't like working in the rain. Makes everything dark and gloomy, makes me feel depressed, makes me wish that I was outside instead of indoors. And we don't want that. We don't want to go outside. It's scary out there. But once you've reached this point right here, as you guys can see, I've basically just copied the original patterning, the original panel, everywhere else around the house, no differentiation besides from the entrance. Again, you could add multiple entrances, like this is the back of the house here, this is the direct back of the house, completely parallel to the front. You could have an entrance here if you wanted, you could have a back door, you could have a side door, you could have 2 side doors, you could just have 4 entrances, it's completely up to you. This is how you can mold the house to your will, but I'm going to get rid of the rain, and then we're going to move on to the next part of the house. So, what I want you guys to do, if you're still working on that, just completely fill all of the ground floor, walls of your house in, and then when I come back, I want you guys to be ready to move on to the next part. We're going to take care of the roof. So, back in just a moment. Alright guys, now that the rain's gone, it's time for us to continue on. That rhymes! Dr. Seuss in the house. Once you've reached this point right here, this is what you want to do next. So we're now going to take care of all 4 of the base roofs of the house, and then we'll take care of the main roof, the top roof, the one that's spouting out of the middle of the house. So this is what you want to do on all 4 sides of the house. So starting with the front of the house, coming up to the top of the outer part of the frame, starting from on top of this spruce wood block right here. Can you guys see the one that I'm talking about? On top of this block, you want to place a spruce wood. From that block, you want to do 2 upright diagonals. So that's 1 and 2. You then want to connect that second bottom right diagonal all the way back down to the top of the framework. And again, spruce wood really isn't behaving itself, but I'll alter that a little later on. Those are placed sideways when I really wish they would have placed upwards. Again, I'll alter that later. And you can see that little triangular pattern that we've done on the outer part of the framework of the house. Well, we want to do that on each one of the 4 sides of the house. So we're now going to come onto this part. On top of this block, we place a spruce wood, and then we do 2 upright diagonals, and then we connect that diagonal all the way down to the other part of the house. And you guys can see I'm doing it like this just to make sure that the blocks place vertically, because, well, again, they're not behaving themselves. When I actually built this house, the blocks were placing how they usually would. Like, if you would have placed the block like on the upper right hand half, like if you would have placed the spruce wood block like on this part of this spruce wood block, it would have placed vertically. But again, it's not behaving how it usually would, so I've got to get around it somehow. I can't have horizontal spruce wood, guys. I can't have it. I just can't. So we're just going to alter the front now. There we go. Knock out the center. So you want to have like that little triangular pattern on each end of the house, each 4 ends of the house. Once you've done that, we can now place the roof a little bit. So what we've essentially done there, we've just placed guidelines for the roof. Starting with the front part of the house first, this is what you want to do. So the first part of the roof actually kind of like, it starts at the top of the framework on the outer side of it, and it kind of like wraps around like the side of the house. It starts on the front and it kind of wraps around like this, because there's nothing in the way to stop it. The second part of the roof, starting from just in front of this block, it kind of conflicts here. It hits the middle portion of the house, so we don't have to worry about any sort of wrapping around. But you guys can see how the roofs work, and you can see how it's building up here. It's very obvious. It just starts just like next to the spruce wood, and you just build it up as you would any other roof, and that's exactly what I'm doing. So just using the spruce wood triangle as a guideline, you just want to have it just come this far back, and just it wants to stop 1 block in front of like the actual like middle part of the framework. So what you want to end up with is something that should look exactly like this, if you guys can see exactly what I've done there. And of course, once you've done this to the front portion of the house, you want to do the exact same thing on each one of the other 4 parts of the house. So we're now just doing it to the left hand side now. And, well, we've got 2 sides to do, haven't we, for the left-hand side, and then we'll move over to the right-hand side, etc., etc., and we're just building up each one of these 4 individual roofs, hopefully placing blocks properly instead of placing them upside down. Again, roofs are something that just do not want to behave themselves. Wood always decides to, it just changes what it wants to do, it just does whatever it feels like, and stairs, for me, they also just behave in just however they feel like it. They don't care about me. They don't care about my problems, so we're about halfway done at this point. Probably a little over halfway done. We're just building up all of the roofs exactly how we did the first half of the house, just building it up very, very slowly. And once we've done the main portion of the roof, which we have now, we'll also have to edit them a little bit. You'll see that we'll also have to add a little bit of wood up here where we have like this empty section at the top in the middle portion, but that won't be a problem. We'll probably add that bit once we've messed about with the walls for the middle tower portion of the house first, since we've actually got to add a little bit of a patterning scheme to those, and then it will just make everything else quite easy to place. So you just want to end up with something that should look exactly like this. And again, you just want to have the exact same thing just going around each one of the 4 sides of the house. Doesn't that look really cool? It kind of looks like a medal or something, like looking down on it. Kind of looks like a medal you'd get for, I'm not going to say that. That was going to be really, really offensive. I'm not going to say that. So that is what you want to have for each 4 of the roofs at this moment in time. Once you've reached this part right here, this is what you want to do next. So like I said, we're now going to take care of this middle section of the house, and this is what you want to do. Again, just as with each one of the 4 other sides, or each one of the sides of the house, all of the sides are pretty much the same, so we're just going to apply this, if you guys can see what I'm doing here, we're just going to apply this to each one of the 4 tower portions, tower walls of this house, if you want to call them that. So just to show you from the inside, because it's easier to do from the inside, this is exactly what you want to have for each one of the 4 middle walls of the house. And we're just going to now apply those to, well, like I said, to each 4 middle walls of the house. So we're just going to very quickly apply these, and then I'll show you guys what they should look like from the outside, and then we will continue on. Then we'll finish off the roofs a little bit, then we'll do the big main roof, and then we will do a bit of a garden in this house. It'll be done. This house is really simple. It really shouldn't take you too much time to do whatsoever. I mean, there is quite a bit of busy work involved, because you've got to make quite a few roofs, and there's some glass pane involved, and just because wood's a little tricky to use for some reason nowadays. But this is what you want to have. As you can see, it's the exact same pattern on each 4 of the interior middle tower portions of this house. I don't know what to call those, but from the outside it should look exactly like that. Looking pretty good, if you ask me. I like the look of that. Looks pretty nice. Yeah, I like that. I was going to consider editing it just a little bit, but I actually like how that looks. Once you've meddled about with the middle portion of the house, once you've got each one of those 4 walls taken care of, we can now do the details of the 4 outer roofs. So now what you want to do, you can see how we have this empty strip of space here. You just want to fill this bit. On each 4 of the sides, you just want to fill it in with spruce wood like this. You just want to add a row of horizontal spruce wood, and it's actually behaving itself quite nicely. Horizontal spruce wood just filling the gaps of each one of those 4 sides of the roof, giving you something which should look like that. Once you've done that, this is what you want to do next. So you can see on the outer part of the roofs where we have like these 4 spaces right here, kind of looks like the outline of a Tetris block. You just want to fill each one of these 4 spaces in with this. You just want to have a birchwood plank just in the bottom center, and then you just want to surround it with glass pane. And once you've done that, we can now just do the final details for the roofs. And all we have to do here, we just have to add another layer of birchwood stairs just on the outer part of the roof, like this. And then you just want to add... Oh, come on, don't behave this way. Okay, good enough. You just want to add another layer of birchwood stairs on the outer part of the roof. You just kind of like want to follow over so it's overhanging the front of the house by 1. And then you just want to add upside down stairs just below the overhanging part. So what you want to end up with is something that should look exactly like this, just to give you guys a front view. And of course, once you've done that on the front part of the house, you want to do the exact same thing on every single other part of the roof. What am I talking about? I'm getting tongue-tied, guys. I think I'm going crazy. It's kind of warm in this room. We're actually getting a nice warm day for a change in England. We're still in February, which is very much winter here. It's supposed to be freezing, but actually got a warm day. It's kind of taken me by surprise. I think I need water. I think I'm very quickly dehydrating, so... I'm just going to finish off these other 2 roofs, then we'll take care of the centre roof, and then we will take care of the outside and the interior a little bit. That is where this house will shine. That's when everything will be brought together, guys. That's when everything will come together. Once the garden's in especially, it's going to look really nice. Not that the house doesn't look nice now. It's a nice, simple, pretty nice looking house. Pretty easy to build. It's just, I think when the garden's here, I think that's when everything's going to be pulled together and it's going to ascend. So we're just doing the other part of the roof right now. Here we go. Just got to fill this little center part. Upside down stairs just on the overhanging portion of the roof. And what you want to end up with, again, exact same thing that we started off with. This is the exact same thing that we have all the way around the house. You just want to have roofs that should look absolutely identical to each other. Absolutely perfect. And once you've reached this part right here, pause this if necessary if you're still working on any 4 of those base roofs. Once you've got those taken care of, we can now take care of the master roof. So the only difference between the master roof, this middle roof, and the 4 other roofs is the fact that you can see both sides of the roof. They actually don't change in structure at all. So you're on the front of the house and you want to locate this block right here. This part's going to be familiar to you guys. You've already done this 4 times already. On top of this block, place a spruce wood, and then do your 2 upright diagonals. Of course, I'm doing it like this just to make sure that everything's placed vertically because of my OCD. That has to be appeased. And what you want to end up with is, again, the exact same shape that you've formed many times already, just this triangular shape on top of the framework. And once you've done that on the front of the house, you want to do the exact same thing on the back of the house. So here, again, you just start off with your single spruce wood, do your diagonals, and then just connect it back to the house to give you just 2 parallel triangular shapes on top of the framework. And once you've got both of those placed, it's now time for us to actually add the birchwood stairs. So starting from either side, doesn't really matter which one, starting from on the outer part of the top of the framework, you just do your first layer of stairs. And then your second, then your third, then your fourth, and eventually you're done. You just build up your layers of stairs, just exactly how you've done it many times already. We're just doing it in a different setting. Like I said, it's the exact same strategy that we've already done. The only difference is that we can see both sides of the roof. One part isn't just covered by the middle portion of the house. So you want to end up with something that should look exactly like this, as you guys can see. I think this is the back, and this is the front. Once you've built up your layers of stairs, we now just want to fill these middle sections in, and it's the exact same thing. It's just the birchwood plank, bottom center, glass pane everywhere else. So that's the front. This is the back of the house, exact same thing. Once you've added those details in, we're now just going to add the outer parts of the stairs just to make the roof overhang by 1 as we're doing. We'll then add upside down stairs. Actually, you know what, we'll take care of the spruce wood at the top part first. So I'm just adding all of the overhanging stairs first of all, and then we're just going to do the strip of spruce wood that exists just like at the top center part of the roof like this. So we've just got the sideways spruce wood like that. Knock out those 2 blocks, replace it with sideways spruce wood. Now all we have to do is just place upside down birchwood stairs just underneath each one of the overhanging stairs like that. That's the front of the house, and this is the back of the house. And of course, once we've finished this, there is actually nothing left for us to do, tutorial-wise that is. There is a little something left for me to do. So what you want to end up with, and the back will look exactly the same as this, what you want to end up with is something that should look exactly like that. Perfect. Identical. Let's have a look at the back as well, just to show you guys. The back, exact same as the front, as is most of this house. Each one of these sides, pretty similar to all of the other sides. They're all very, very similar, and that's the point of this house. So once you've finished that middle section of the roof, structurally there really isn't anything left for me to show you guys. There's no part of this tutorial left. Once you've reached this point right here, you've actually fully built the house. Well done. However, if you want to stick around, I'm now going to cut out the video. I'm going to mess about with the interior a little bit, and I swear I'm barely doing anything to the interior, but I am going to mess about with the exterior a little bit, and I'm telling you, I think once you add the exterior to this part of the house, the exterior, the garden, and the hedges and stuff, I think that it's really going to make this house look cool. So I'm going to be back in just a moment once I've tampered about with this house just a little bit more. Back in a moment. I really can't tell whether I've ruined this house or I've improved this house. Let's take a look, shall we? We'll start with the inside and then we'll take a look at the outside. The outside's a little questionable. So, with the inside of the house, as usual, ripped up the floor, replaced it with my new favourite material, black stained clay. Get it? Whilst it's hot. So, I was going to leave this house as kind of like a bungalow, and I was going to have like the underparts of the roof showing. I was going to leave this completely empty and have all of the beams and stuff, but I decided to fill in the second floor and put a staircase here, just like opposite the entrance, so you can walk straight up the staircase, and there's actually a decent amount of room up on the second floor. You can actually do stuff with it. You could use it as storage and what have you. If you wanted to use this as a survival house, this would actually make a pretty good survival house, since it's not really difficult to make. Most materials are pretty easy to get a hold of. I don't know about the birchwood, but you could definitely get a hold of like oak and oakwood planks and glass pane, and you could probably quite easily make this on survival if you wanted to, and I'm sure that you could quite easily get a hold of some brown carpet, or some brown wool I should say, and use that as carpet instead of the black stained clay. But yeah, the second floor of the house, you can actually use it for stuff, which is surprising. I was going to just completely either seal up the second floor, or as I said, my original idea was to just kind of like leave everything open, all open plan, and just have everything showing, but I decided to go with this instead. A little dark in here, but the interior is pretty cool. I'm quite happy with it. It didn't go how I thought it would. Let's take a look at the exterior now, shall we? So, with the exterior of the house, the original idea was I was going to have like 4 different fountains, like in the positions of where the pools are now. And I kind of liked that idea in my head, but when it came to it, I didn't really like the look of the fountains, so I decided to replace the fountains with pools instead. And I don't know, I kind of got an obsession in Minecraft with using water as decoration, and I like it, but I'm not exactly sure whether it improves the house or whether it, I don't know. I'm not sure if it fits with the theme of the house. It looks kind of good. I mean, it's easy enough to do. If you guys wanted to follow with the pool idea, maybe try the fountain idea if you guys wanted. The reason that I do this little bit at the end where I mess about with the interior and the exterior a little bit is just to give you guys just a spitball with you guys a little bit, you know, throw some ideas around. If you guys don't know what to do with the house, you know, I give you something to, you know, kind of like a starting position. If you guys are wondering what you could do with it, this is what you could do, or you could build upon this or change it completely, but all I did to do these 4 pools, as you guys can see, I kind of just like connected both of the corners to... I can't really put into words, but I think you guys can see exactly what I did. I kind of like squared off the house. I turned the base of the house into a giant square. It actually looks cool from this position. I really like that. I just like added a corner onto each end of the house, filled the edge of it in with spruce wood, and obviously had to dig out a couple of layers of ground in between the house. I had to go down by 2, replace the original layer with, that is actually mossy stone brick, and I had to, just underneath the house, this is actually spruce wood that I've used just underneath the house. I had to replace this because it was just dirt originally. Looks pretty cool themselves, but I'm not sure it pulls the house together, and of course I've just done this on each foot, on every side of the house, on each 4 of the quadrants. So, again, you guys can decide whether you like it or not. I'm not entirely sure myself. I mean, the house looks kind of cool from this position, but I suppose it's really up to you. I'm not sure whether you guys would have different ideas for it, but that's all I've done. Very limited amount of work, very easy. Again, something very easy to accomplish on survival if you wanted to do that yourself. I think this would make a cool survival house. It's just nice enough, and it's just easy enough that you can accomplish it without too much trouble. Hopefully you guys have managed to make this house no problem. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video.